really not supposed to start till 4:15. So they're kind of working on that, so I'll talk a few minutes while they're getting organized there. There is a sign-in sheet, so if you have not signed in, please do so. That is how you will get your wellness points. I'll return those back to Rebecca to get some wellness points in. The presenter today is Dwight Davis. This is him back here in the corner. He is head of the Community Hospital EAP services and does our EAP with us with a couple other folks at a community hospital there. And my deepest apologies, I don't know your PA.
I'm Heather.
Hi Heather, very
Hi.
nice to meet you. I'm Marlis.
Nice
And
to meet
welcome
you
to
guys.
Hilltop.
Thank you.
Dwight's been here and seen some of us on different occasions, so welcome Heather.
Thank you.
All right, do you want to, well, we got 1 minute, so if you're ready, you're welcome to get started. And
Sure.
so
We can go ahead and start.
we can get
People
started.
just gonna-
People will wander in because they're just
Absolutely.
tying up their days to get.
Well, I have to tell you that I think this presentation is really cool, and I didn't put it together. Heather did. I asked her, if she, as one of her projects, if she would like to put together something on mental health and technology. And because she's a student, she did it for me, and it's wonderful. When I opened it up and ran through it, I went, oh my gosh. You can tell she's a student, because she knows how to do stuff that I never would have known how to do. So if you like it, make sure you let her know how much you appreciate it. But technology really does affect mental health, and I think you'll see how it does that. So in technology today, we have lots of different kinds of technology. We have medical technology. We have administrative technology, which you guys all are really aware of. We have assistive technology, which you guys probably are also aware of here at Hilltop. And then we have information and communication technology, and that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on today. And that's the television, internet, computer software, video games, smartphones, and PDAs. And that's kind of what Marlis asked us to talk about today. So information technology affects every aspect of our lives, like work, communication, interaction, and play. So there's been a huge change in information technology usage over the past decade. Back in 1998, 0.5% of internet usage, and then in 2010, in internet hours per day, it's over 2.5 hours per day. This one will blow you away though. Internet access by Americans. Back in 2000, 30% of Americans were using internet, and now it's almost 80%. The number of people that have cell phones in the world, 6.8 billion. Now, where do you think those are? Just in, like, countries like us, right? Yes. Wrong. They're all over the world. Places I never would have thought people were using cell phones. People are using cell phones. But that leads to a real downward spiral when you're talking about cell phone use. Thank you.
I need to find a new place for breakfast.
The Breakfast Club in 1986 called Classic, starring members of the Rat Pack.
What?
So, do we want an LCD or plasma?
Plasma is an ionized gas.
Next time we gotta find cheaper tickets.
Cheapskates. Cheap thrills.
I'm having this back pain.
Backpacking back to school, Johann Sebastian Bach.
Seriously, we need a new place to eat.
Eat lead, eat my dust.
Eat
Editing shark!
Wolf spiders eat their young.
Plasma cut.
Tetroplasma.
No, I need a flat screen plasma TV.
Flat screen. Subscribe. Flat break.
Unlimited plane tickets. Raffle ticket.
I've got 2 tickets to paradise. Won't you pack your bags? We'll leave tonight.
Bird of paradise. What's causing my back pain?
Bring the pain. Mixed martial arts this Sunday.
I said tickets.
Have you ever done a search on Google? That's what it's like. You put in one word and you get more than you ever thought you'd get. So we have these challenges before us because all of that stuff, we get stress. So information technology is a double-edged sword. We get to communicate lots of different ways all the time. We can multitask, but that leads to multitasking, sense of non-accomplishment, distress, tediousness, demanding, demands on our working memory, all these different things, which leads to stress. Which leads to technostress. And that's a term coined to describe the stress reaction of people who are heavily dependent on computers at work. Any of you guys use computers at work? What would happen if your computer died at work?
Free day.
Really? Our computers went down for an hour at the hospital, and I thought people were going to go crazy. It just sent the hospital in a panic. Do you realize how a hospital is dependent on computers? Everything runs by computers at the hospital. We have an inability to deal with complex technology. It's an uncertainty that comes with development, upgrades, and changes. Just when you think you have something that you understand, they unfold a new upgrade. And you think, I just understood Meditech 4.0. And now here comes Meditech 4.1, and then 4.2, and then Word 4.3, and then Microsoft Office, nothing stays the same, which leads you to feeling totally inadequate. 10 years ago, we had mail, and you were all bummed out when you went to the mailbox because there were bills and bills and bills. And then, remember AOL? Ding, you've got mail. And you were so excited. You were so excited. And now, you go to your computer and you have 2,000 unread emails, and you get so excited when you go to the mailbox and you have a letter. A real live letter. When was the last time you got a letter from somebody? Christmas, yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time somebody actually sat down and wrote me a letter. And when they do, it's like, wow, this really meant something to me. So we have to keep up with all of these things. Stress can lead to depression, insomnia. Tell me, you don't even have to raise your hand, but I bet you that some of you guys have some of these symptoms. Hypertension, anxiety, social dysfunction, delirium. I hope none of you guys experience it. Confusion, cognitive problems. And cognitive problems, that's as simple as you're trying to finish a sentence and you can't remember what it was you wanted to say. And I'll bet you that's happened to every one of you. You thought what?
I thought it was age.
No, it's not dementia. It's because of stress. It's kind of like, our brains are like this hard drive of a computer. Here we are. And when you put too much information in the computer, you get this message that says memory overload, and it won't take any information in. Well, that's like our brains. Suicide, because our next challenge is multitasking. How many of you think we really multitask? We'll see. There's major problems with multitasking because multitasking can lead to misunderstandings, misplaced priorities, stressed relationships, jealousy, missed deadlines. Does that ever happen to anybody? Distractions, and multitask can be deadly. How so?
Driving. I was gonna say driving is
Yeah. That's the huge thing right now, texting and driving. In fact, I got an email from the fire department. A car, still holding his cell phone, drove underneath a semi. This is gross. His head was in the back seat, and his hand was still holding his cell phone. So have you ever been in this situation? Yeah, we were just talking about this. I mean, he looks so happy, doesn't he? She doesn't. How many times have you been in a restaurant and looked over and you see that happening? Yeah. And we were talking earlier, and it used to be that it was just kind of the younger generation that did that. Not so anymore. This is a really good commercial.
My phone would ring, and it'd be him saying, "Hi, Ma, what you doing?" And he knew that I was at work. And just those little things throughout the day, he'd always say, "I love you, Ma." This is the unfinished text message that our son was typing when he drove off the road and died of a massive skull fracture.
That's pretty powerful, I thought. You ready for this one? Okay. 50% of Americans check their email once an hour. That seems a little ridiculous. 35% of us check it every 15 minutes. 10% of us check it 30 to 40 times an hour. So how often are you distracted by your emails? My phone goes off every time I get an email, including during the night. I'm on call, so I have to have my phone on all the time. Every time I get a stupid email, my phone goes off during the night. Do I get a good night's sleep? Distractions in homework for those of you that have kids. Nearly all American children report doing at least another task during homework. 21% say they do 3 other tasks while doing homework. Now, how are they focusing on schoolwork? What's distracting them? Email, social networking, texting, television, and video games. Oh, and surfing the web too.
A human's ability to do several things at once, it's a wonder of biology. It means we can eat a burrito while we walk down the street and listen to music and daydream about the weekend, all at the same time. But some kinds of multitasking costs us more time than we save. Doing 2 things at once, like singing while you're taking a shower, is not the same as instant messaging while you're writing a research report. Don't fool yourself into thinking you're actually having a conversation while you write. You're switching your attention back and forth between 2 tasks quickly. You're juggling. And when you juggle tasks, your work suffers and it takes longer, because switching tasks takes time. When your brain switches from one task to another, it takes up a whole new train of thought, and you lose any momentum you had on the first task, which costs on the next switch. In an office or on the internet where distractions abound, switching tasks so often can cost hours. A recent study showed that employees who were interrupted while working on a task could take up to 25 minutes to get back to the thing that they started. We've got work that requires your full attention, like researching, writing, or number crunching. Stop juggling and start single tasking. For example, if you've got emails coming in, but you've got to get together these slides for the presentation, Shut down your email client, finish the slides first, then attend to the email. You'll get the job done a lot faster than the juggler who switches between the slides and the email constantly. You already know that certain kinds of multitasking is hazardous to your health, like texting while driving or blow drying your hair while you're in the bath. When you're splitting your attention between two tasks, remember the difference between multitasking and juggling. When you have the choice, stop juggling and get your work done faster, one at a time.
Pretty cool, makes sense, doesn't it? So here's our challenge number 3, and that leads to sleep disturbances. Sleep, or technology and sleep disturbances. There's a study in Japan that said gaming prior to trying to go to sleep led to increased sleep latency, means you have a hard time getting to sleep, increased heart rates, and decreased sleepiness. And how many kids do we know that like to have their video games right in their bedroom and they try to play them just before they go to bed? Oops. Also decreased REM. So working or playing on a computer decreases your melatonin. And the reason for that is that the light from your computer goes right into your eyes, which goes back to your pituitary gland, and your pituitary gland is what produces melatonin for you. And so here you are surrounded by darkness, and your brain's going, okay, I think I should go to sleep. And you turn on this bright light computer, and it's going, oh no, it's not, it's daytime. Shut down the melatonin. So now it thinks it's daytime, and it's not going to produce any melatonin, which leads to insomnia. Watching TV and movies on a mobile device or your TV leads to insomnia. Another study in China said the same thing. This guy's pretty smart.
There's an interesting post in here from Jella talking about TV and sleep quality, and the question is, does watching TV before going to sleep affect the quality of your sleep? Well, I guess there's different points of view about this. I don't have a TV in my bedroom because I don't think it's particularly good for us to sleep with a TV in our bedroom, but here's 3 reasons why I think it could affect the quality of your sleep. But I'm interested in your thoughts on this, so keep in touch with me. The first thing is that the TV is a light source, and we're designed as human beings to sleep at night in the dark and to be awake during the day in the light. So in the context of a dark room, a bright light source can actually delay our ability to get to sleep. The second thing is, of course, TV programs may in themselves be stimulating, and watching that program on TV keeps our mind going, gets our emotions going, and may make it difficult for us actually to get to sleep. But the third thing is that you could fall asleep watching the program, and your brain still processes the information to some degree, even though you're asleep. So it could disrupt the quality of your sleep, just that ongoing background noise. And of course, there's also the possibility that the TV could waken you up during the night. So altogether, not the best idea, but as I say, I'd be interested in your thoughts too. Thanks for the question, Jill.
So our recommendation is to stop using those electronic devices in your bedroom 1 to 2 hours before going to bed. Bedrooms are for sleeping and cuddling, not for watching TV or using your electronics. Use electronics less than 2 hours a day, not including work, because we all are. Well, wouldn't that be great if I said less than 2 hours a day, period? I'm sorry, boss. Can't use my TV or my computer anymore today. Have a specific time that you turn your phone off in the evening, and tell people, don't call me on my cell phone, because I'm not going to use it. If you can't do these things, ask your doctor, what about melatonin? You know, because that'll help replace some of those things. Our challenge number 4 is addiction, and that's one of the things that we were asked to talk about. So can we become addicted to technology? What do you think?
Yes.
You think so? Addiction is defined as a use of a substance, even though it's adverse consequences. So let's see. Some psychiatrists have applied the DSM-4 criteria to, like we have pathological gambling, to the internet, and texting, SMS, or video gaming. 1 in 10 gamers became gaming addicts in Singapore. This is cute. Have you guys ever seen her before? She does some really funny.
Oh, actually, I made this one. You can make these online.
You made these?
Yeah.
Oh, what there's another one where she's an emergency room addict. Have you seen that one? It's great. But you did this one?
Yeah, you can make them online. There's like a website to do
Wow.
it.
I am worried about you. I heard that while you were on vacation, you never turned off your phone or computer.
It is true. My BlackBerry runs my life. I've got a 24/7 technology habit. I even check messages from the bathroom, the Whistler ski lift, and a pool raft. At LA's Chateau Marmont Hotel, my husband calls my laptop, which I bring to bed every night, the other man.
I think you may have a technology addiction.
I didn't know you made that. I tell you. Okay. So here's some signs of technology addiction. When you lose track of time online, and you don't need to raise your hand because this isn't AA or TA, technology addiction. Losing track online, trouble completing tasks at home or at work because you're on the internet, isolation from friends or family. You know, I have this little kid that I'm working with, and he is in 4th grade, and we had to set the rule that he cannot use his computer or his cell phone. He has a smartphone. He cannot use that in his room behind closed doors. He has to have his laptop or cell phone out with the family.
Did you say 4 or 4th grade?
4th grade. Feelings of guilt, defensiveness about technology. If you start feeling guilty about how much time you're on the computer, you might have a problem. Feelings of euphoria when using technology. And then there's some physical symptoms: dry eyes, carpal tunnel, backache, neck aches, or weight gain, sleep disorder. Why would you have weight gain? Because you're not doing anything, right? Yeah. And mood changes. Consequences. As with any other addictions, there's consequences to having this addiction. Depression, somatic complaints, anxiety, guilt, insomnia, psychological distress, unhealthy lifestyles, and this is how to break video game addiction.
The way I address breaking a video game addiction is that I approach it like I approach other behavioral addictions. Behavioral addictions are different than substance abuse addictions because in substance abuse addictions you can abstain from using the drug or taking in the alcohol. Behavioral addictions are different. So what we need to do is we need to put some boundaries around use. We need to contain the use so it's not having a negative impact in your life. So the first way to do this is to become very mindful of the amount of time that you're spending on your video game use. Once you establish this, then you can then tailor back and you can set some boundaries around it. You can say that I will only use it for 2 hours in the evening and 4 hours on the weekends. You can establish some use that's more consistent with you leading a fuller, more productive, more enriched life. The defining feature that I see in treating people with video game addictions is the fact that their switch occurs where the video game begins to control their life. So no longer do they have real friends, but they have virtual friends. No longer do they have a life where they're engaging out in the world, but their life becomes very small and very narrow, and they're spending an enormous amount of time in a room in front of a computer screen, so their life becomes very narrow and very small. The key here is that we want somebody to have a rich and rewarding life, that they're able to engage with other human beings. We know that the most profoundly healing thing in the world is a meaningful connection with another human being. And in my experience, that occurs when two human beings come together in real time, together in the world, and not in front of it, and not through a video screen.
Makes sense? Absolutely. I think that that's because we're relational people in general, and that relationships make us whole. So here our challenge number 5 is depression. And I think that when you look at emergency room visits and doctor's visits, depression is the #1 reason that people go to a doctor. Even though they go because of headaches and stomach pains and sore throats and everything, depression seems to be the #1 real reason. So we have the sedentary lifestyle without physical activity. One of the things that I'm always telling people to do when they come in because of depression is to get up and go on a walk, go exercise, go do something. Fewer meaningful relationships because all you're doing is interacting with a screen, like he said. Isolation from others and doing less things that we really enjoy. And sleep disturbances worsen depression, and all those things that we talked about earlier lead to sleep disturbances. And that leads to suicide. Technology brings us information about everything. Everything, including the real dark stuff of life. There's multiple websites out there that romanticize and encourage suicide. And that's just amazing to me, but you can go on the web and find out anything. There's pro-suicide websites that describe suicide methods, teach people how to commit suicide, and even encourage people to commit suicide. Some websites actually have people committing suicide online.
Shock and disbelief after this South Florida college student took his own life before a live internet audience.
He was very happy. When he was in public, when he was around people, he was very happy. And there's really very little indication otherwise. In a normal day, you really couldn't tell that he got as low as he did.
Computer users said they watched Abraham Biggs swallow pills and then lay on his bed. Some viewers apparently thought it was a hoax, while others egged him on in his final moments. Eventually, someone called the website, who then notified police. The camera was still on Wednesday afternoon when officers burst into the teenager's bedroom, but it was too late.
I wish he had been able to talk to someone. It's really a real big shame that we lost someone so young.
A teen who's described as friendly and outgoing reportedly struggled with bipolar disorder.
Very kind-hearted. Everybody knows him as a good kid. I knew him like that. He was a good friend of mine.
There are reports Biggs started blogging about his suicide plans 12 hours before his body was found. And that prompted his family to publicly question why no one acted sooner. It's not clear how many people watched the public suicide. Ross Simpson, The Associated Press.
It just blows me away. It just blows me away. Bullying, so there's cyberbullying. Use of the internet to actually deliver or be hostile towards other people. And that happens all the time. We may not think so, but all you have to do is look at Facebook. Or it used to be, what was the one that was before Facebook that kids used?
MySpace.
MySpace was atrocious. 50% of adolescents admit that someone has said mean or hurtful to them online. It can be done via email, web, social networking, mobile phones, all those things. And a lot of suicides have occurred because people have said such horrific things that they would never have the guts to say to someone face to face. But instead they say it on Facebook, and hundreds of other kids or adolescents or adults read it. We can skip this one. Violence and video games. There's just this huge question of whether video games really do contribute to violence. And there's a lot of studies out there that suggest that video games have been blamed for school shootings, bullying, violence towards women, desensitization towards violence. And if you watch them, you can really understand why that might be the case. Rewarding for violence and teaching children that violence as a way to resolve conflicts. Some of them are so realistic. We've gotten so realistic in our video technology that it's like watching the graphic thing. We all know that Eric Harris and Dylan Keebold did their training on Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. Virginia Tech also did some stuff. Call of Duty is another one. There seems to be this causal relationship between video games and committing acts of violence. However, 97% of US teens have played a video game at least once since 2008. And we don't see 97% of all of our kids committing violent acts. So we know that all of them don't do it. 50% of our top-selling video games contain violence. That's kind of astounding to me. Some argue that video games reduce violence, providing an outlet for aggression. So you have both sides of the argument, and you really have to figure out where you're going to stand on it. So what do you think? I mean, it's one of those parental decisions that you have to know what your kids are doing, I think. And for even us adults, we have to know what we're doing when we're playing these games. Sexual predators. When I have 3 kids and they're all grown up now, but this was huge when they were little. A study of 10,000 adolescent girls in 2005 revealed 30% of them spend more than 10 hours a week online. 60% of them spend 10 hours instant messaging. 60% of them. 60%, this just really hurts, report giving out personal information to somebody that they didn't know. 23% sent a photo to someone online. And then 13% met somebody that they met online. Adolescents. And 61% rarely or never having adult supervision. .27.5 visited a pornography website. 21 were under 21% under the age of 14. 40% were girls. 1 in 5 reported unwanted sexual solicitation online, and under the age of 11. So we have to do this dance between technology and mental health. There's good, which increases mobile and e-communication. The bad is it decreases face-to-face communication. The good is it supports, there's support groups for addiction, depression, and mental health problems. The bad is it can increase depression, anxiety, violence, bullying, and sexual predation. The good, and Colorado West is doing this right now, is it actually provides people therapy who can't leave their home, and they provide therapy psychiatrists for people who can't get to therapy, and psychiatrists. The bad is it provides education for people to commit suicide. The good is that it helps people in assisting tasks. And the bad is it prevents us from doing things that we enjoy. So how do you balance this out, and how do we take care of ourselves? We need to take breaks from technology. 5 minutes every hour. Switch tasks. Take a walk. Go to the bathroom. Get a drink. Do something different than working on technology all the time. Stop multitasking, like she said. Start single tasking. Shut down your mail server and do the project that you're working on. It amazed me that she said that it sometimes takes us 25 minutes to get back doing the tasks that we were meant to do. Stop using technology 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. That'll help us go to sleep. Leave technology out of the bedroom and leave your phone or TV off while sleeping. Somebody please tell me. that. Moderation is the key. Watch out for addiction technology. Just keep your eyes open for that. Make note of how much time you spend online playing video games or texting. How many of you look at your cell phone bill, and how many text messages do you send every month? I'll bet as many as I do. My kids do in the thousands, and so do I. That's one of the ways that we communicate at work, is via text message. It's faster than trying to do cell phone, call the office back and forth, but man, then you have to pay another cell phone bill. If it's more than 2 hours a day outside work, cut back 10 minutes a week until you're less than 2 hours a day. That's kind of like what that guy was saying, set those boundaries and start cutting back until you're there. To lessen depression, continue doing the things in life that you enjoy, and if you can't think of what they were, sit down with somebody who can tell you, you really used to enjoy doing this. Make a list of those things and start doing them. Because they're there, you just forgot about them. Set a limited time to spend with technology and be active in your life. Those of us who get really engaged in technology, we've become disengaged with all the other things that we enjoy in our life. If somebody that you know is isolating with a computer, let them know that you really enjoy being with them. And you can take and just bring your chair right up next to you. What you doing? And it'll bug them to death. You go, can I help you? What you doing? And they're going to it'll drive them crazy because they've forgotten how to interact with you. And why don't you go, let's go for a walk. Let's go do something. No, it's 8 degrees outside. I know, let's bundle up. Let's go for a walk. But let them know you care about them. Watch out for signs of depression, suicide, bullying, and sexual predation. Be involved in your children's online world, and it's okay to supervise them. It's a must. You can block sites that you know to have inappropriate content, and there's a really good website. Oh, the name just escaped me. Lighthouse, I think. I'll find it and I'll let you know, Marlis. That you can put on your computer, and if people in your house go to inappropriate websites, they'll email you directly, immediately. Yeah, so I'll get that for you.
Okay.
Teach your children not to give out information to anybody online. Replace those violent video games, and I'm sure some of your adolescents will just love that, with educational videos. I know, but or limit their use. Do something to help them understand that violence is violence is violence. But technology really does affect us. Poor spelling. It's amazing how bad my spelling has gotten, because I don't have to think about it anymore. I can't remember my daughter's phone number because I don't have to. It's in my phone, and if I want to call my daughter, I say, call Sarah. I know her number. No, I don't. It starts with 778. That's all I know. But all those things, abrupt language, we've started talking like we text. And especially teenagers, they really do talk like they text, or people that text a lot. They use very short sentences, and miscommunication can happen. So which person do you want to be? Sometimes I feel like that guy. Or that lady. I don't know how she does it with all her technology stuff there. So here's would you like this PowerPoint?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll email it to you. Okay.
Perfect.
And then it's one of those things that has so many moving parts, I didn't know how it would look printed, but I'll send it to you, and if you'd like to give it to people, you're more than welcome to. But there's tons of resources here, references. And there you go. So questions, comments? What do you think? Do you guys have an information addiction? I know one person that does. Really? Well, congratulations. But I think it is something that we really do need to watch out for and stay attuned of, and just be careful. Because technology is a part of our life now, and we can't avoid it. Like I said, our hospital, if our computers go down, we're in big trouble. And probably here at Hilltop, the same thing happens. But I think we can start to take control back and say, okay, when work's done, work's done. And now I want to live my life as a human being and not as somebody that has to be dependent on technology. And I want to read a book, or if you want to read a Kindle, that's fine. But don't read it in bed, you know, because that light it'll bother you. Go on walks, go to the athletic club, lift weights, lift jugs of water, do whatever it is you want to do, but get some physical exercise. Talk to each other. Take breaks from technology. I don't think we all need to become like in 2001: The Space Odyssey, where we're controlled by HAL. And sometimes it begins to feel like HAL is controlling our lives. So, thank you guys.